The Charmed reboot was terrible, and here's why. First things first, I will be the first to admit that the original Charmed had some major problems. Glaring problems, especially later on. But Charmed has a very special place in my heart. I think it was a great show, it was fun, it was brain switchy off despite its problems, and that weird last tacked on season that really didn't need to happen, although that had its perks. The reboot has met with mixed feelings. I watched it. I've watched through season 1 and I just don't like it. I don't like the tone of it. I don't like the fact that it doesn't feel like Charmed. Charmed is light and fluffy with its moments, and Charmed, even its most flawed episodes, still had a backbone of a sister's relationship, family. This reboot doesn't do that. The acting in this reboot as well. The first episode, everything happens. They discover they have another sister, the mother dies, and it's this really unnatural progression from them finding out they have a half-sister all the way through to then becoming witches, and it's all very instantaneous. It all happens in one big go. And Charmed wasn't like that. The original was more of a slow burn. Characters were introduced slowly. For example, when Paige was brought in to replace Prue, she was introduced slowly. She didn't move into the house straight away. You know, it took time, and it was a growing phase. Yes, it was still unnaturally fast, but this adoration just doesn't feel that way. Everything happens in that first episode, and all of a sudden they're sisters. It's really unnatural, and I don't know who thought that was a good idea. I think the first episode alone was easily like 4 episodes worth of plot compiled in. I think the acting, like I said, is not great. The acting in this show leaves a lot to be desired. And where, say, the Roswell reboot is good and it does its own thing, this is desperately trying so hard that it's almost failing. Like, none of these actresses have shown any acting chops. The most interesting actor in the entire show is the one that plays the White Lighter. It's just not a very good show. Also, who is editing the show? Like, the editing and pacing of these episodes is all over the place. Like, the story beats happen extremely fast and there's lots of filler. Like, if you're gonna take a show, if I was gonna reboot Charmed, if I was gonna go in there and say, I want to do a reboot of this show, I'm gonna recast it and restart it, I would keep, even if I was going to change fundamental basics, I would still keep the tone the same and the energy the same, and I would try and focus on plot. This is so action focused sometimes, but it does feel completely unnatural, and it kind of suffers from unnatural wokeness as well. That's something that really just killed it. Like, it's trying so hard to be inclusive that it feels unnatural. I hope season 2 does get better, but season 1, it was just dire. Like, if you're gonna do this, do it well, and this just doesn't feel needed. It doesn't feel like it's trying anything new. It's not doing anything new. Also, the special effects. Like, I can forgive dodgy special effects in TV, but there are some dodgy special effects. I mean, this is sort of on Shadowhunters level of bad CGI sometimes, although there is some very good CGI in the show. But I feel like they should have just got, because there's obviously, the cast have obviously buried a lot of hatchets of the original Charmed, and I would like to see what they're doing now, because they would be women with teenagers and young adults for kids. I would like to see that, or the prequel, or something set, you know, like a prequel to it about the grandmother and the mother. That would be interesting. This is just feels like they're trying to replace the show. And I never got the thing when the press release, we want to do a strong feminist strength, show. And I'm thinking, have you not watched Charmed? Charmed is the quintessential strong woman show. Again, flawed characters, some flawed episodes, and definitely that, like I said, that last season really did tip the balance between naff episodes and good episodes. But it was strong. These women were strong. You could believe those women. They faced hell of a lot, and I don't believe the actresses in this show. Part, again, because the performances aren't convincing. There is nothing in this show that makes me go, oh, this is really good. Or, oh, I like this element. There isn't that. It just doesn't feel like Charmed. It just, if you're going to reboot it, at least keep something constant. Again, like Roswell, that's a reboot done well. This doesn't. This just makes you feel like, WTF, what's the point? This just feels like a replacement, and I don't think it will ever touch the original. I don't see it lasting very long. I don't know, it's not the show that we need, it's not the show the fans want, really. I don't think anyway, I can't speak for everyone. And it's also not the show that it's trying to be. Like I said, it's trying so hard to be something it's not, that often it just feels forced and fake. So that's why the new Charmed reboot is terrible. And I'll talk to you later. Bye.